Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Poppy Stamps today, and I have a very simple no line coloring technique with some very simple stamping as well. So these are the products that I'm going to use. I have some gray cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. I also have the Poppy Stamps Peony Stems and Blossoms stamp set, and I have some Simon Says Stamp Fog ink, and I have the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, which I have been dying to try because everybody is doing such gorgeous coloring with them. So I have my Misty out and I'm going to stamp the first bloom sort of on the left hand side. Rather than doing masking, I'm going to stamp one stamp at a time and I'm not going to layer them on top of each other. So I have this second bloom that has a short stem, and you'll see later in the coloring how we deal with that. It's very simple with the pencils to extend the stem. Then I'm going to stamp that third stem on the right hand side there, and it's got a couple of little buds and blossoms on it as well. The stamp set also has these little dots, and I thought I'd stamp those in Fog as well. I stamped them in 3 different spots to create a visual triangle around the center of the card. I wasn't sure where I was going to put my sentiment yet. I thought it might be on that bottom left-hand corner, so I left that open for now. Okay, so these are the Polychromos pencils. I like to start with the white pencil and create a highlight on everything. So there'll be a highlight basically on every petal and then every leaf as well. This is really easy to do with the white pencil. You just do a little bit of coloring, kind of a soft touch for the first time. You want to make sure when you're using these pencils to not color on cardstock that is completely smooth. It needs to have some texture to it in order for the pencil to attach to that cardstock. And if you press really hard in the beginning, you won't be able to layer your colors. So the first thing that I do is that white highlight. I do it really, really soft. Then I go in with the first color, which is, I'm going to do sort of like Copic coloring. I'm going to grab 2 to 3 colors of each, or 2 to 3 hues of each color, and layer them and blend them in order to create more depth and dimension in my flower. So the next color I'm using is a kind of medium yellow. I'll link all of the colors down below in this set. And what I'm doing now is going over the outline of all of the petals. To maintain the look of the flower, you need to outline over the gray with a darker color than you're going to color inside the petal. And that will create a look as if you just colored the flowers yourself rather than stamped them first. So now I'm using that darkest color, which is actually a light orange, and I am doing the same thing. I'm going over all of the gray outlines. This color especially will completely cover up that gray for the flowers, and I'll be able to color inside the petal, and you'll still see the outlines of the petals so that it doesn't just end up looking like a big blob, which, believe me, I have done before. So don't want a blob. So then I'm going to go back in with that medium color and kind of blend those two together. And finally, I'm going to go back in with the lightest color and completely make sure all of the spots are covered up and blend everything out. Okay, next I'm going to start with the stems and the leaves. I have 2 colors of green, a really, really light one, and then kind of a medium green. And I'm going through everything first with that white pencil, then with the really light color of green. And next I'm going to do all my details with that dark green. So once again, I'm going to go around the outline, make sure that you can see all of the details of the stamped image with that dark green pencil, and also add some of my own kind of texture to the center of the leaves. You'll see that I'll kind of swipe through with long strokes, trying to go in the direction of the leaf just to add my own depth, dimension, and texture to those leaves on the inside as well. So it's not just a wide open leaf stamped image. Okay, I have the Prismacolor pencil sharpener here, and you can use that for the Polychromos as well. Any sharpener will do. And the great thing about these pencils is that they're really sturdy, so you can sharpen them. They won't crack and break. Next, I covered up the dots with a dark blue pencil. And now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I actually grabbed a different stamp set from Poppy Stamps. This one is called Little Kindness. And I liked the large sendings in script. So I stamped that directly on the card panel in Versamark ink and then covered it with white embossing powder. I have a strip of the same gray cardstock, and I am stamping the sub-sentiment from that same Little Kindness stamp. It says, "All my love." I did struggle with it. I pressed too hard. This is why it's really good to use the MISTI, because you never press too hard with the MISTI, but I pressed too hard and I smooshed it on the left-hand side. Okay, now I am grabbing the double stitched scallop rectangle dies and cutting that out of a darker gray cardstock. I'm going to adhere my panel down to a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch top folding note card with some tape runner, and then adhere that scalloped border on the outside of that. And that is the card panel. Now I'm going to cut the little All My Love sub-sentiment, and I'm going to pop this up on foam adhesive. So I'm just using some non-stick scissors to cut that foam into a thin strip and lay that down on my card. The final thing that I'm going to do is add some sequins, of course. Love these clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. And I use some Nuvo Crystal Glaze to adhere it because it's really shiny. So it won't take away any of the shine of the sequin when you adhere it down. It will be nice and crystal clear. And that completes my very simple stamping and no line coloring with pencils card. So if you're interested in any of the products that I used, those will all be linked down below. You can click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can check out my blog as well. I'll have a couple of other videos here, especially a couple of Poppy Stamps videos for you to check out if you're interested. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.